because people they formed this idea of Suge just based off that, like the Source Awards speech. Like, oh, he's just like this because what we heard. Like, all up in the videos, you going to the red room, we gonna fuck you up. You better have my money, you owe. Like, you formulate who you think this person is. Not saying that he's not one of those things. Like, he's done some things that's like, Suge. But when he started speaking on that, like his collect calls, or even when he came and did a few calls on my show, the Love and Listening show, it humanized him and showed him like, oh, this is him as a father. Oh, this is him as a big homie. Like the collect calls, I feel a lot of people connected with him because they're like, wow, Suge sounds like a big homie of mine, or like a big brother of mine. Like he has a lot of wisdom. He's not just spewing shit. So, oh yeah.
All right. So it's been a few years since Snoop Dogg took helm of the brand Death Row Records.
Right.
Do you feel the aura of what your father built is being respected, or is it being turned into a commercialized version of the original?
It's definitely being turned into a commercial, commercial, whatever you just said. It sounded perfect what you just said. But that's just what it is, though. That's a perspective, All I know is that, my father created one of the greatest labels of the West Coast, created the founding fathers of all hip hop, Dre, Snoop, Pac. Got those Suge up there, even though he didn't make no tracks. He executive produced those tracks. Mary J. Blige, he helped Dog Pound, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference between like those labels and other labels. And he didn't start it out with drug money. I know they got the Harry O type of shit, but it's like that was all a scandal just to put Death Row in the same category as like the other labels. I don't want to say those other labels' names because we don't want any lawyers coming after us, because we know how our words have power, you know what I'm saying? So if I say it, it's gonna be something. But we all know the truth. However, we never been mad at Snoop. I never been mad at Snoop of anything like that. Do what you have to do, you know what I'm saying? He never had that, he never built that company. He made records, but after the 5 years, he ain't done nothing with it. We just seeing what we see. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't talking shit or whatever. It's just what it is. So, but record labels, they're very outdated. It's not like what's the record label? Rockefeller Records is out here doing this shit. Like, it's still Rockefeller, but it's Rock Nation Management. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why you can't really just compare those two different eras, because it's drastically different. How to break an artist, all of that. It's not financially smart for record labels to maneuver how they used to maneuver for artists, because it's just a loss for them.
Let's discuss this Daz and Snoop beef, man.
See, you got Daz or Snoop beefing in Death Row Records, and that's not Suge Knight, has nothing to do with it. It's the same nigga shit. The same niggas. They can't get along without Suge. Now they really not get along with each other. So the truth is coming out. And I don't know, man. Snoop had Death Row since 2020, bro. It got acquired, right?
Yeah.
And nothing else happened. All the West Coast artists don't even respect them, because it's like, nigga, we got all this talent and you're not doing nothing. So my dad made the greatest label of all time within 2 years span.
Yeah.
Dude had it for 5 years and still haven't done nothing with it. Pathetic. And then Daz, he over here fighting over the publishing with Snoop. It's still the same nigga shit. So you sue my father, still got paid for it, went broke, and now you go back and you don't talk about Snoop?
But Daz is real smart for filing the Dog Pound, the Paul trademark.
Do you know why they filed the trademark? Because they follow Suge J Knight, because Suge J Knight trademarked Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes ain't that smart, bro. Don't give them that too much credit. But it's like, I could have got Dog Pound too. I didn't want nothing to do with it because it was already dead. It just not got revived. He trying to trademark just the Dog Pound Paul.
Yeah, because what happened, the Cleveland Browns owned the term Dog Pound, so Jazz got the loophole by registering the Paul, because Dog Pound, the word, is actually owned by the Cleveland Browns.
That's crazy. See, there's different loopholes for everything, man. You go talk to your trademark attorney for that, and always make sure your paperwork is good. But however, back to these slime ball ass niggas, stop. The West Coast gotta be saved, but the West Coast gotta be saved if they want to be saved too. So I'll leave it at that.
I mean, was there any music so far that's come out of Death Row that you?
I'm not too sure. Only thing I heard was him dissing my father, and that flopped too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He did another diss to Suge, and it's like, shut your bitch ass up. But he the only bitch ass nigga we see. That's free. You know what I'm saying? Snoop a bitch. Like when Draco the Ruler died, he was performing out there. He was the first nigga out of there. These young niggas don't respect Snoop, and that's why Snoop don't work with no young dudes.
Wow.
So that's just what it is. He ain't no boss. He ain't no gangster. He's just a billboard for smoking.
Now, your father had a great relationship with Corrupt. Did you ever have a relationship with Corrupt?
Yeah, Corrupt was cool, but he had his own trials and tribulations. You know how things work. I think everybody from that Death Row era could have been in a lot better situation if Death Row wasn't strategically taken down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Through fraud and all that. So that's why we seeing how these dudes act, how they act now. So it's just like cliques of like who's right, who's wrong, who got money, who don't, all that mumbo jumbo. They all like almost 60 years old, 50 years old. I'm not worried about them. Wow. It's just what it is. But however, if you are an artist in LA, not just in LA, but if you're an artist out there, you should just work with someone who knows the industry now. Don't use the old tactics.
Yeah.
How these dudes are, because they're really failing. And I know the dudes in the comments are like, he just hating because that's his dad. Like, nah, nigga, like that Snoop and Dre album collab flopped. Nigga, like you know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all, there has to be some type of something that's gonna bring back the West Coast. Because the West Coast was at top at least 10 years ago, at least when Ty Dolla, YG, DJ Mustard. Yeah, we got Kendrick now benefiting off the beat with Drake. But like there's so much talent that we shouldn't be like limited to being like, oh, we're just lowriders and G Funk. Like, come on, bro. We got real artists out here, Yeah. So they label us just how they want to label us. They only think that all of our celebrities is only Ray J and other falling off niggas.
The 90s were about being loud and flashy. Why is the new moguls of 2026 choosing to stay quiet, focus on family, and keep their business off the clout radar?
I think that's a great question. I think those guys are just they already lived life, they already had their money and seen how people do to get to a certain level or want their life. So they just have to protect what they really value because there's a new artist every day, there's a new song every day. So you go back to your core values, what you care about most and protect.
Damn.
Yeah.
There's a massive wave of people reclaiming their Aboriginal or indigenous roots. Do you believe that understanding the true history is the only way the community to achieve real sovereignty?
I think so. It's a form of if you know who you are, where you come from, you have a better foundation who you are. You know how to live. But that's gonna be hard. America is man-made, it's rewritten. Like Christopher Columbus came here and found people. It's like I discovered America. So it's just like, okay, you gotta do that on your own research. So
have you done your research? Have you seen that? Are your family roots, were they slaves or were they indigenous of America?
I think it's a little bit of both. My mom, from the Central America area, El Salvador type, and my dad, I think he had slaves and slave owners because he's part white. And my grandmother's, white, and like they from Mississippi.
Okay.
So they probably had slaves. They probably was the slave owners.
Damn.
So this is like, damn. The last name is Knight. So I don't know if that's I don't really sound too African, or who knows.
What is the most powerful piece of wisdom your father has passed down to you to help you navigate through life?
I think it was instilling to not be money hungry, but I'll think a better word. I think it's just like patience, man. You know, or doing things. I'm not too sure. Like it's hard to put it in one word because how we operate is just like we patient, we do things our own, and we want the best. So I think wanting the best for yourself, it's like self love. I think self love is like the best way to put it because you when you want the best for yourself, you're not putting yourself in a situation where it's like you're holding yourself out, you're desperate, and you just think things through. So that's carried me for so long. So
Do you feel that the public is finally starting to understand your father's perspective, or is the villain narrative too strong to break?
I believe that the people who understand his perspective is growing. That number is growing,
Hmm.
but there's always going to be that person who has the opposite perspective. It's never going to be just like, oh, we all believe that Suge's a good guy now. No, there's going to be Suge Knight was a good guy, Suge Knight was a bad guy, and you got people in the middle. So it just depends.
And this, and I think the the podcast your dad had gained a lot of respect from a lot of people because we finally got to hear a more educated and a wise Suge, and really we kind of
Yeah,
understood him in
I
from
can
a
see
deeper
that.
on a deeper level, and I think it's got a lot of respect. Um,
Yeah, I could see that because people form like they formed this idea of Suge just based off that like the Source Awards
yeah,
speech. Like, oh, he's just like this because what we heard. Like, all up in the videos, you going to the red room, we gonna fuck you up. You better have my money, you owe. Like,
yeah,
you formulate who you think this person is. Not saying that he's not one of those things. Like he's done some things that's like
yeah,
Suge, but when he started speaking on that, like his collect calls, or even when he came and did a few calls on my show, the Love and Listing show,
mhm,
it humanized him and showed him like, oh, this is him as a father. Oh, this is him as a big homie. Like
yeah,
the collect calls, I feel a lot of people could connected with him because they're like, wow, Suge sounds like a big homie of mine or like a
yeah,
big brother of mine. Like
exactly,
he has a lot of wisdom. He's not just
yeah,
spewing shit.
yeah.
So
And that's what you got
that's what
was
you,
like a
yeah,
lot of wisdom.
right.
Yeah,
And that's what you go back to see what's the difference between Suge and Puff. Suge was very secure. So that's the difference between very secure. Puff was very insecure
mhm,
because he damn near dated everybody's girl after they was dating him. He wanted to make sure he was the only one having money. He pretty much didn't want nobody to outshine him. He always wanted to be on the track. He couldn't just be like the boss and the artist. He had to be both. He couldn't just separate the two. And that was a big thing at that time. So that's I think that's what we've that's one of our biggest problems today is people not being secure. They're having too many insecurities.
yeah. And what's so great is I think people are not buying it now. It was that we're starting to see that legacy media or the mainstream, the ones that are always pointing their finger at somebody's bad, bad, bad. We're starting to see these fuckers in the land. You know what I mean? So now Suge's perspective, we can almost understand everything that we heard throughout the 30 years may not be all the way true or just extra exaggerated for this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, come on now. We knew that he was talking about, like the example. We knew he was talking about Puff at that Source Awards. They came out with a lie and said he was talking about Jermaine Dupri. Like, nigga, come on, bro. Dancing on Jermaine Dupri wasn't dancing in the videos. Jermaine Dupri is a great producer too, as well. But
Yeah,
it's like, come on, bro. Like that wasn't in the talks of it. Y'all knew who it was. And it really killed me when I heard watching that documentary. It could be alleged, but the fact that they said Craig Mack was starving, starving for some bread. And it's like, then he pulled out water cash, be like, count it. I'll just give you 100. I'll see you later, my nigga. That was
that's cold blooded.
bad boy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what's up with that? And if you think about it, look at all of Biggie's pictures. He's really sad. He's really angry. He's not happy. Now look at Tupac pictures. That nigga all like West Side, nigga jewelry, we good, we eating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to just look back at what was put out there. I'm not making any crazy assumptions. I'm just like, hell, we got the opportunity to talk about the truth. Why not? Let's do it.
Now, when is your father's release date, or is he up for parole?
I think that'll be close, pretty close, like in the 2030s, maybe even less time than that.
Okay.
So, you know.
Because you just said 15 years. Like, damn, I didn't realize it's been
15 years, bro.
It's been a crazy long time.
For sure, yeah. It's over
he damn
10.
Near time. Yeah, he damn near time served.
Time served, that's what I'm saying. If it's just manslaughter, you know what I'm saying? But that's why it's deeper than just a Suge and Biggie type situation. There's different entities and different people who wants to protect themselves, and you know who may take the fall for why they got the results.
I mean, people know your dad is got railroaded
for sure.
You know, and I don't understand why they're doing it, because he ain't saying nothing, but.
Well, you know, it is what it is. Like, you piss certain people off, you do certain things wrong, you know, you do certain things right. You know, you piss certain people off, they come after you. And, you know, they want to take after your bread if you're a powerful black man and you got a voice out here.
And you hit it. When you do something right.
You do something right. When you do something right, but it's wrong in them, their eyes, that's what
they're coming after you.
They're coming after you.
Yeah, that was major right there.